Top Fuel drag racing is an elite sport. For many years, a select few travelled the country, wowing crowds with their mix of speed and nitro flames. And whilst the show has always been impressive, never before has an upcoming championship looked so bright. With a double-digit entry list in Sydney, racing and winning Top Fuel in the Andra Pro Series is about to get that much tougher. Professional teams with resources and equipment to go the full distance in the championship, Top Fuel Nitro is about to explode. Add the return of a drag racing legend and we are guaranteed a season like never before. With the title of the nation's first 4 and first 300-mile-per-hour pass, the Cowan name is synonymous with Top Fuel racing. An accomplished driver in his own right, Andrew Cowan has taken on the best the sport has to offer in the USA, and after a brief hiatus from drag racing in Australia, returned to cement the Cowan name back in the record books.
There's 11 cars here this weekend, and I think that really brings out the best in everyone. You have to run to make the cut, to make the bump, and there'll be like 4 or 5 cars going home this weekend, so hopefully we're not one of them.
Top Fuel, round 1 of the Andra Pro Series, and it starts in Sydney at the Books Australian Nationals.
For the Auto 1 team in qualifying session 1, they ran a 472, pushed the head gasket out at about 600 feet. In qualifying session 2, they broke a conrod in the burnout, and talking to crew chief Bruce Reid, that's just normal wear and tear. The cylinder head technology on this car is 5 years old. Asking why they persisted so long with it, he said, hey, it's a multiple championship winning combination. Andrew Cowan, we saw that brilliant 462 and the drive job in the top end by Andrew Cowan and the shallow bulb in staging chat. A lot of crew chiefs impressed with that.
Yep. Really impressive thing about that 462 was Andrew's first pass in that car. I'll tell you what, he was the world's quickest teenager at one point when he licensed at just 17 years old. And he's very comfortable in that car. Ooh, smokes the tyres.
He did that in qualifying session 2 in tricky conditions. But Phil Reid, out of nowhere, bang, pow, boom, 457. That is the quickest pass we've seen in Australia in a long time.
Yeah. Phil Lamartina's beaten every single person he's raced again at some point except for Luke Shepherd. So maybe the Shepherd families can have something over. There's Amanda Shepherd, an ex-racer herself. Theo working on the barrel valve, playing around with the idle and ready to send Phil Lamartina into stage. Surely they're going to break the curse of this racetrack.
Race sponsorship 2 from Graham Cowan after Bob Shepherd beat him, offered assistance. Will it be enough this time? It's close!
Oh, who's got it?
It is Bob Shepherd just. That team is so introverted. Not. Matt Shepherd had to put the throttle linkage back on this car to be able to back the thing up. So they're walking a tightrope in this final. Can it hold on for them?
Oh, well, we're nervous for them, to say the least. Number 4 and number 7 qualify. There's the throttle.
Still not happy with it.
Oh, man. It's not exactly going to be on there very tight if you're putting it on by hand. Number 4 and number 7 qualifiers making it through to the final.
And the throttle play in a Top Fuel car is tiny, and you've got several thousand horsepower behind you. A lot for the quarter-mile smile to think about. Look at Amanda, hyperventilating.
Come on, Bob. Can he cause a massive upset?
Early shut-off for the quarter-mile smile, and Darren Morgan deserves the win. 470, great speed too. Tough break for Bob Shepherd. Dave Saunders, the sponsor, Skips Fire Service, they're on the start line, but they're pumped, and so they should be.
How about Sainty looking to go to his first final since December 2008?
Can Ben Patterson, the 21-year-old crew chief, send his charge to his second consecutive final in this season anyway? Good quick start in the championship for the AEG team. Identical end-to-end reaction times. Hint of tyre smoke that time for Sainty, but he gets there. The lead must have swapped 3 times in that one. Unbelievable.
Oh, don't believe it, the Skips boys. They can't believe it either.
Terry Sainty, of course, running that 3-valve combination. They have 2 inlet valves and 1 exhaust, and they're looking at a way of staggering the inlet valve, the infusion, shall I say.
Fuel and air.
Fuel and air. You'll get it out there eventually, trying to stagger that a little bit. Always looking at research and development, this team. All Aussie ingenuity, including the car. And Andrew Cowan today has been consistently impressive.
Reaction times won't matter. If Cowan gets down from A to B, he will win this race. If Sainty can win it, he needs Cowan to slip.
Drop cylinders early for Terry Sainty. Drop cylinders at the finish line, but a good win to Andrew Cowan. And how about the way he staged and left? Brilliant NZ reaction time. Great win.
Man, 059 NZ lied the team like it. Back in the Andra Pro Series and back in victory lane. There's GC, the team get together. So do the Sainty boys, a shake of the hands, and Andrew Cowan.
Santino, Rapisada, Santo and Santino. There's Santo in the foreground. 2 young tuning guns. Their father, Santo, very proud of them. Oh, just trying to settle down the airflow going into the Reed Speed car.
Off with the throttle stop that hangs on the right-hand side.
Just trying to
Injector hat.
keep that RPM down in that optimal zone. Everything is so thin edge of the wedge in Top Fuel Nitro.
Average reaction time, Steve Reed, 0.121. Mariani, ranked number 1, 094.
Mariani and the Santos crew had some main bearing leak issues in the pits during one of the fire-ups. They've managed to fix that, though, in the nick of time. Oh, hosing raw fuel on both sides.
Oh, they're creeping there.
Oh! Gee, almost a whole shot win.
Oh, who needs ET for a drag race?
My mum took me down to Ravenswood to see what they called a top fuel dragster. And I was hooked from there. I said, gee, one day I want to drive it, and that's all I could dream about. As a West Australian, it means the world to us. Like, you don't realise the experience.
Well, Munster Martis becomes the first West Australian to win the Andra Top Fuel title.
Words cannot describe this moment. It doesn't just get any better than this, and this will always be my most memorable moment of drag racing. It just can't get any better than this.
It's a tight old drag race. Oh, the hot chief. Explosion, enormous explosion. Oh!
That's incredible. No shoots with Stamatis, and in the sand.
Well, the first 300 mile an hour was pretty special. The first 4-second run was at my first meeting with Nitro Chance.
Identical NZ reaction times. It's tight at the finish. What a drag race. What a way to kick off, and I would be pumped too. That is a big one in the championship.
My crew chief, Rob Cabanino, came back. He says, well, what do you think, Gritty? So I thought, is that all you got? He says, what, you want more? Yeah, bring it on. And that's Robert's character. We have a good rapport. I mean, whatever he wants to throw at the car, I'll wrench it down there.
Launches nicely. 2 big, long, very much. And he's gone quicker. 4.603. That is the quickest run we've seen this season.
The journey's exceeded the expectation, and it's still going. A lot of West Aussies have said to us, well, we wouldn't blame you if you retired now, Martin. And tell them I don't want to retire. I enjoy driving these cars. Yes, we've done everything we've set out to do in the sport.
Oh, you beautiful girl! We're back!
The Winter Nationals is something really special. The important thing is I'm out here driving a top fuel dragster, and it's made me strive as a West Australian. Was bring the championship car back to Perth and show the West Australian people this season. That's all I wanted to do.
Both cars stride out. Well, that is an expo side by side fours, and a quick one for Martin Stamatis, both carrying hot speed. And Micros and Co. This Titan Cranes team.
Morgan, the only guy to win in that first round without running a 4-second pass.
I think you'll need to run one here. Pre-stage lights are on. Sainty eases forward first. Good reaction time for Sadie, courtesy of Van Zetten. Whoa! Who won that?
It's Morgan. Only just in with a late shoot. Here comes the sand. Oh, he's going to get it.
We're set. Three-stage lights are on. The first semi was awesome. What will the second semi-final deliver in top fuel? Identical, pretty much end-to-end reaction times. They surge through. Phil Reed wins it. No, he doesn't. Oh, wow.
4.806 beats a 4.808, and there was only 2,000 separating him at the tree. These two cars are ridiculously fueled up out here. You can barely even see them through all the fume. Amazing.
Darren Morgan's grinning, though. He loves the nitro tears. As Theo Pavlo Manolakis makes the final adjustments on the Fuchs Lubricants car. This puts the championship picture back on track, regardless of this result. But Morgan, if he can take this, wow, head of steam for the Pro Series. Finals time begins now. Oh, 0.221 for Morgan. The troubles for Lamontina. A pinch lucky.
Uh-oh. No shoots again, and this is going way faster. Watch out.
Carrying heat literally into the sand trap, but thankfully it cresses the top. 4-second run. The crew go, I don't care. We've won the race anyway. Well done to the Hungry Jacks team.
The last time the Andra Pro Series was in Queensland for Top Fuel Nitro in January, the rain started and did not stop. Little did we know at the time, but those first few bursts of rain introduced a catastrophic chain reaction that gained both Australian and worldwide attention.
Ipswich and Brisbane are now facing their greatest threat and their toughest test in more than 35 years.
And residents in Ipswich are preparing for hundreds of homes to be lost.
These horrendous floods, with their far-reaching effects through the community, left people shaking their heads in shock and awe at the power of Mother Nature. Willowbank Raceway, nestled near Ipswich west of Brisbane, was largely spared the worst of the damage. But areas around the quarter-mile drag strip and races with their families and friends endured hardships that one cannot fathom.
Well, the damage is the whole bottom half of the building, I'd say, is buggered.
It might be breaking our hearts at the moment, but it will not break our will.
But Queensland has fought back in true Aussie spirit, and the signs are already there that this part of the world will not just survive, but thrive. Just like a drag racer refusing to let defeat get the better of them, head back to the start line and go again, better than before. It is then tribute to Ticker that beats within a Queenslander's heart that just a month or two later, we can head to Willowbank Raceway and see Top Fuel Nitro burn down the quarter mile.
Well, here we go. Morgan versus Lamontina. We look at the numbers. They've met 5 times in the past. Lammy holds that one 4-1. Morgan finally came through for his first ever victory over Phil Lamontina in the last round in Perth.
Aaron Hambridge watching closely as Theo Pavlo Manolakis and this team, the finishing touches on the Fuchs Lubricants car against this man. It's amazing, isn't it? They're both from the Sunraysia district. A hotbed of nitro right now in the Andra Pro Series. Big crowd here too to watch this epic semi-finals matchup.
Lamontina has a reaction time 31 thousandths of a second quicker than Morgan's.
Here we go. Big one, this one. Both reaction times superb and a bottler of a drag race. Lamontina did what he had to do off the start line, ran an 82, but was beaten. Wow.
And they look stunned. Steve Reed this season, 100% win record. That kind of slid under the radar. He's yet to lose a race this year. Darren Morgan, 81% win record. But I'll tell you what, Steve Reed's reaction time's been scary quick lately.
He is a very, very good drag racer. Has accomplished it all, be it in Europe or in Australia. And he's very, very good in the service of the car between rounds. Very hands-on and helpful in that area. Has to be with the nature of the team at the moment in particular. And is confident. Now, they have had the odd issue of the application of the clutch down track, curtailing them. Hopefully, for their sake, they can be long and strong like they were in round one today. They'll need to be.
16,000 horsepower on the start line and a bunch of Pro Series points. Could be time for a crank it up.
Whoa! Big trouble on both sides of the racetrack, but Morgan, I guess, legs it through, but that was a catastrophic boom for the AEG car. Supercharger hat dangling in the breeze.
I see Darren Morgan and the AEG Power Tools out there as well, because if Phil Reed loses this race, once again, it's all or nothing right now for Darren Morgan. They will be crowned the champions tonight, and they're out there on that start line watching very, very intently, because if Phil Reed chokes right now, they will be the champions.
Of course, I'd love to see Darren Morgan and the AEG team win the championship, but the soap opera spin doctor in me hopes that we battle this one out at the Winter Nationals. We're about to find out, though. Damien Harris has been 480 every time he's greeted the start line of this event. Killer NZ reaction time for Phil Reed. Trouble for Damien Harris. Phil Reed does enough, runs 4 seconds, wins the Nitro Champs, and yes, there is a chance. Come Queensland.
490. Oh, what happened to Harris? The thing just went absolutely nowhere from that start line.
Asking the Morgan team why they've been so successful this year. 2 areas. One is more finesse in their team prep, and that's despite having Chad Nailon on their crew at one stage this season. More attention to detail, but also their clutch package overall. Getting that right has been key. In terms of specifics with the clutch, no comment.
What a way to stamp a national title, a Pro Series championship, and to beat up on Corey Mack here at the Winters.
Pretty even off the tree. Morgan awfully close to the centre line near the finish line. Drops cylinders.
The new Top Fuel champion. Firstly, congratulations on that.
Thanks, Dino.
What an effort, what a season from you guys.
Hey, yeah, what a blast. The young bloke that's tuning this, 21-year-old uni student, we're going to lose him to somebody one day, but not at the moment, I guess. AEG, Hungry Jacks, Shannons, Canards, they've been with us all season. Thanks very much to those guys. This trophy here, that's for everybody in Mildura that's put their faith into us over the last 4 years now, I guess it is. And clean engine, took a blower belt off, it went a little slow up the top. I think we had him all the way. I outreacted him, I hope. Otherwise I'm going to cop plenty of back there.
Well, you get...
Anyway, we beat the Americans.
You sure did. You get one of those as champion, but you are on track for another gold Christmas tree as winner of the Winter Nats, taking out the NHRA Superstar. Unbelievable.
We've done it before, not Corey. That's these guys here that are working behind me. They're the guys that make all this happen, and Natalie, my wife, and as I say, everybody from Mildura that puts in. That's yours, not mine.
Congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you, thanks very much.
The teams right now just cleaning away that rubber, checking the tyres. It's an awfully hard job because you've got these 8 pipes just choking out nitro right in your eyes.
Talking to Junior, the crew chief, Santo Jr., saying they're chasing reliable oil delivery around the engine. That could be a problem in a nitro-burning top fuel car. They've stepped up the mag curve, though, in this one. They think they undershot the track. Darren Morgan, a similar tune from Ben Patterson, his crew chief, from their paddock after round 1 of Eliminations.
Mariani in his 8th ever semi-final appearance, and we go to his 2nd ever final.
Wow. Bit of a disparity in the NZ line.
Oh, that was close.
Uh-oh. Mariani I would say he was obscured by smoke and clouds by Darren Morgan there.
Oh, and they're still tripping over each other.
The precision and finesse of Pro Stock motorcycle. The power and aggression of Top Bike. Two killer, two-wheel classes in the Andra Pro Series. The Fuchs Australian Nationals heralds a new season in Sydney that sees an overloaded pro bike field that will excite and entertain. There is no easy entry to race day anymore, here for a class that is genuinely finding its foot pegs very nicely. Top Bike sees the continuation of Harley consistency against multi-cylinder power and fury. Chris Matheson took it all last season, and the Fuchs Nationals represents a chance of back-to-back championship glory, and even more significantly, an opportunity to claim one of the final great frontiers of Australian drag racing, going 5 seconds on a bike, down a quarter mile. According to the quickest man ever in the world on a top fuel motorcycle, you don't want to miss the Aussie action in this fearsome category this season.
My bet for the first 5-second pass is going to be Chris Matheson. What I see going on in Australia, bar none, is the greatest show of top bike that I've ever seen.
Tyre smoke, but 1005 to the 60!
That is insane. We're starting to see what this bike is capable of in Australia.
You don't want to miss this, as you may just see history in the making.
Chris Porter, the fastest of the Harley riders so far this weekend.
Sorry, Chad, I just love that shot. Think about it. Lying astride, spooning, making intimacy with an Exocet missile, this huge engine guzzling nitro explosive fuel right under your chest and face. No, thank you.
Well, that's why they wear the bulletproof vests underneath here. Two very different motorcycles. Nitrous powered for Redgrave. And Porter's going to run away with this one. He's going across the centre line.
Bradbury moment again for Jeff Redgrave.
No way. I know Chris Matheson's really looking forward to it. He loves the Perth racetrack. If he doesn't get his first 5 here, he swears it'll be in Perth. He's already told me that he's, well, kind of like a kid before Christmas, sneaking down, looking at the bike every night.
Tough break. Well, one semi-final is already sorted. The last time, the Matheson had the luxury of a single in the last round. He was rather aggressive. You suggest the same again?
Have had trouble with that rear tyre slipping a little bit. Borderline on tyre smoke. Look at that bike go.
Oh, that's a Sydney Dragway track record, if nothing else. 6,111. So Chris Matheson, there's plots and subplots as always in the Andra Pro Series here at Sydney. Roger Blue very particular about the staging of the bike in this final. Really trying to draw a map in his mind of the quickest and fastest way down this Sydney Dragway quarter mile.
I feel
like the Nitro Voodoo.
We're in pre-stage. Two things could happen here. Maybe a Matheson 5, or somehow Jeff Redgrave could pull off another amazing win against the Nitro Voodoo Redline All bike.
Redgrave taking his time. He likes to play the staging game. Oh. Both NZ reaction times
weren't near the centre line.
Oh! Tripping the line, fantastic, but a 6.14. Well done for Redgrave making the final, but congratulations. The reigning Andra Pro Series champ kicks off his defence in style in Sydney. Mark Drew. A lot of attention on this bike. Some people saying he can go all the way at this event and actually put Chris Matheson away potentially. Easier said than done.
Absolutely, but the thing is, when you're running strong 6.5 second times, you can beat just about anyone in this category. Again with a front wheel.
They're both carrying.
That was a piece of piping, and Matt McLean's gone flying through the finish line cones.
So much drama there.
That was a huge piece of, well, essentially exhaust that came flying off Mark Drew's bike, and that missed Troy McLean's head by millimetres.
There is a rule in Andra if debris comes off the bike that has a safety concern
And of course, well, both have created a safety infraction situation. There's the debris. McLean's touched the centre line. The timing cones go flying. The first to worst applies, and it has just been confirmed. Unfortunately for Mark Drew, he has been disqualified on the virtue of a safety infraction. Tough break.
So, as we said earlier, Matheson yet to actually win an event at the Perth Motorplex in the Pro Series. We've seen some big upsets before. This isn't going to be one of them.
Shuts it off just past 1,000 feet. He's having all sorts of troubles. Gets so close to burning it.
They touched. They touched. Oh, man, that was close as you'll ever want to get in the braking area. On board with Chris Matheson. It was a strong 6.3 second pass, which he shot off well early. There's the wind. And here comes Burnett. This is close quarters. Oh, man, they banged foot pegs.
Down to the final, and it has to be said, a bit of activity, a bit of action behind the starting tower. Troy McLean coming through, but the Red Line Oil team, with some dramas, you'd suggest.
Well, the problem was they thought the race meeting was gone. They saw that rain coming down, and well, they just about here we go. They're waving it away.
They cannot get the bike fired up in time. It really is a top fuel, and I underline those two words, top fuel motorcycle. So it's hard to rush the fire-up procedure when you're dealing with nitromethane.
Oh, well, it's so unfortunate. He's going to have to wait till the Western Nats if he's going to put up a fight for hopefully his first ever win in the West. 5 Second Club will also be put on ice till then.
He had some drama here last season.
They're talking with the track officials. That's Roger Bloor, the crew chief.
I think they're saying that they had the bike front and centre for finals some considerable time ago, and the weather and track conditions have changed. That's it. You've just got to factor in these curveballs. It's nobody's fault that the rain came. That said, with the 50% bonus points on offer, this is a big advantage to Troy McLean in the final.
He's going to take a giant step back into things, 7:48 as well, so he put up a fairly representative fight. Carried that front wheel out comfortably to half track, and that's another pass for that motorcycle. A matter of days ago. Oh, look at that front wheel.
Unbelievable show from Mark Drew. It is a show. It's Eliminations race day again. Superb conditions for top bike drag racing, and we are fired up and ready to go. Troy McLean and Dennis Grant, who's shown positive progress. The interesting thing, as we touched on before, the bike a lot more steady and straight at this event. We haven't seen it like that for some time.
That's what's cool about top bike. It's what's cool about any part of drag racing. Just because you're the fastest guy in qualifying or have been the faster bike in the past, doesn't matter for anything when the light goes green.
Again, McLean's carrying the front wheel, Deluxo, and we love it, but that was a bottler of a drag race. Dennis Grant has shown good potential, and ironically, McLean has been his biggest help in getting this bike sorted, and it nearly cost McLean.
We might have the big fast 4 cylinders here this weekend, but it's 2 Harleys that have gone through to the final. Troy McLean cocks that right arm up, ready to grab a handful of throttle.
Wages some wheel standing here.
Side-by-side wheel stands.
Who's going to take out the Western Nationals? Trouble for Drew. It's over. And that is a wicked run again from Troy McLean into the sixes again. It nosed over at the finish line, but he had the awareness. Well done.
The distinctive sound of the Nitro Harley. Low on the RPM, but with big cylinders. And lots of nitromethane creates loads of horsepower. Porter nails Redgrave to the wall in the NZ reaction time.
Oh, man, huge pop. And another big pop.
So Redgrave will get the win, but it's going to come at a big cost, one would think.
Yeah, it looked like it leaned out.
779. That flame went awful green on him down there, but for me, right of screen, Chris Porter, this is a massive detonation. Oh,
man.
Oh, look at him lift his left wrist off.
So can he do it? Troy McLean, the high-tech oils entry, or Chris Matheson break through for a win? Another one too to collect both top speed and low ET points at every round of the Andra Pro Series for this season. Slight advantage to McLean, and he shut off early by the look of things. Same too to Matheson, but not since the Nationals. Has Matheson done it, and he wins here at Willowbank.
To 6:33, McLean. Well, that bike was never really happy all weekend long.
2 wheels, a sticky quarter mile equals brilliant Andra Pro Series action in Australia's fastest motorsport. They don't come much quicker than Chris Matheson, and yet again at Sydney Dragway for the Nitro Champs, he will be chasing new frontiers as he tries to continue his Nitro voodoo hoodoo. One man who has recently snapped his spell, though, is Troy McLean.
Carries the front wheel big time.
The orange roughie on his orange Nitro Harley-Davidson has been very strong in recent rounds of the Auto 1 and NZ battle around Australia. From the wild and wheel-standing Nitro bikes, we move to the in-close and tight quarter-mile battles in Pro Stock motorcycle.
It's gonna be tight. Wow, what a great drag race.
Again, we see a double-digit pro bike entry list in Sydney, but it's the fact that any one of more than half a dozen racers are capable of taking out the Andra Pro Series, which says much, much more to the credibility of this category. Morris Allen leads narrowly in this penultimate round, and whoever wins this one in Australia's biggest city could have the biggest say in who wins the championship.
Mick Murray, his teammate, a difficult first round matchup. Now McLean has seen Matheson progress. He needs to do the same in his pursuit. Some Pro Series Championship glory. He has been there before. Technically, amongst his peers in this category, many say he is the best rider of the bunch. Has proven he can do it on 2 wheels in fine style. Troy McLean. NZ reaction time advantage to McLean, but I think he's in a bit of trouble. He hasn't been happy with the engine in this bike all weekend, and there's the result. Murray with a big, big win. Mick Murray makes a final here for Top Bike up against the monolith. That is Chris Matheson. Roger Bloor, he's been intense. He's always intense, but he's been particularly intense and focused this weekend at the Nitro Champs at Sydney Dragway. Really wants to see this bike settle down.
Well, this is the interesting part. They want to fix those problems, yes, and go out and run a good pass, but they don't want to go over the top and smoke that rear tyre and give Mick Murray a chance to win this. They've done that plenty of times before. They know exactly what it feels like to have it happen.
He's shoved into full stage, you see.
Whoops.
Pre-stage and full stage in.
He's not very happy with the amount of time that Matheson and the team are taking to get into stage, and the clock is ticking.
Gee, always get nervous when they're touching the bike when the pre-stage light's on.
Meanwhile, it's exactly what we said would happen. Matheson smokes the rear tyre, Murray cannot take advantage, and he'll get there with a 760 and rides it in the braking area. That was close.
The Redline Oils entry has been about comfort in the shutdown procedure. That has been the story for much of not just this season, last season as well. And it's not just trying to arrest a high horsepower, fast, heavy bike, but the way the chassis rails have been dragging along the racetrack surface. Sparks throughout the season. Oh, there, 0.5 NZ light is not going to do it. And further mechanical issues aren't going to do it either. Matho a little soft by his expectations. Roger Blue, a veteran crew chief with him.
You see, it's a delicate mix. They don't want to go overpowering the racetrack. So, okay, let's put in a nice, calm, safe setup. But then it goes the other way and it starts dropping cylinders and it's unhappy. So it's a balancing act.
Big NZ reaction time advantage left of screen, but loss of power and loss of direction. For Murray and Matho, that's a little better. 6:35, and again that distinctive shower of sparks.
Well, I think this championship trophy might ease the pain. Congratulations, what a season for you.
Yeah, it's been a good season. The guys have been consistent all year. We haven't really cut some good numbers like we did last year, but we can only try. But as I say, Roger Blore, Bruce McGonnell and Graham Turner, our sponsors, particularly Webcam, Redline Oil, Kit and CRC, all the guys, Rocket Industries really helped us through the year, so bring on next year.
For John Zapier, there was a time that securing an Andra Pro Series championship in top door slammer would be a distant dream. The nomadic West Aussie has always been quick and fast, the spoiler when the races would come to town in his backyard.
For this car looks good for Zap. It's unusually straight. Straight and quick! Wow!
Fast forward to the Fuchs Australian Nationals at Sydney Dragway, Zapier enters this event as a three-time back-to-back champion and the man everyone wants to beat down the quarter mile. With his three-peat success, Zapier joins iconic names like the King of Door Slam, Victor Bray, as one of the giants of Australian drag racing.
This is looking promising for Victor. It is promising. Not only does the King make it, he makes it just into the top half of the field for the time being. Wow.
Will the Rat grab the cheese again, or will his rival step up and kick Zap out in this Andra Pro Series opener?
NZ reaction time to John Zapier. Judd gets out of shape and it's back to back to back.
Robin Judd has been so close to championship glory so many times, and once again will want a fast start in that elusive championship chase.
I mean, we've been a thorn in John's side for a while, and the thorn's only just going to get bigger.
Sydney's Maurice Fabietti was so close to the championship last season, he can taste it and will look to live the dream and steer the Holden Trade Club Monaro to series glory.
Big NZ reaction time advantage to Fabietti. Zapier deviates, shakes a little bit, and Fabietti wins it.
Gary Phillips' championship dream was interrupted by a nasty racing incident last season.
Huge moment for Gary Phillips. The tyres exploded. He clouts the wall.
But with the Pro Series point score reset coming into this one, expect the Lucas car to roar for more glory. Ben Bray is another multiple championship winner and will be keen to play the role of the hunter and grab that winning feeling once again, starting here in Sydney at the Fuchs Australian Nationals.
The Holden Trade Club team still concerned about the valve train on this package. They have had to service the engine after each and every round. The good news is every time they green the start line, they seem to get down the track with a very impressive elapsed time and good speed, suffering a little bit in the speed area only because of engine issues. To manage those concerns, a Nationals crown is certainly within reach for the Holden star. Oh, Gary Phillips, possibly not enough wheel speed. Fabietti banging the blower panels right off. Oh, big fire! Big moment!
Oh, he's on those brakes.
Flames are enveloping the Holden Trade Club car. He hits the wall as well.
And the extinguishers. Wheels off.
He's in a rush to get out of that car.
Phillips is on the scene.
Gary Phillips concerned for his fellow racer. Pulls right up alongside.
You're right.
So many people in the door slammer paddock were saying too that Stu Rowland was being ridiculous in his attention to detail, and the entire crew in all their areas. They're so good. He was meticulous, stripping this car down, rebuilding the car, had laser guidance on aspects of the car, trying to get it right. Maybe it's paying off. That is tribute. He is here to front up for this final at the Fuchs Australian Nationals.
Can I just say, this car looks absolutely awesome when you look around.
Agreed. Pressure off the West Aussie. He wants to put things right this season. Drives out a little bit of tyre shake early. This looks quick. That is the way to put an exclamation mark on a great Fuchs Australian Nationals.
Perth, Western Australia. One of the world's most livable yet isolated cities. The nearest big city to this beautiful and modern location with its booming economy is Adelaide, more than 2,000 kilometres away. Perth is closer to Singapore than it is to Sydney, Melbourne or Brisbane on Australia's eastern seaboard. Despite this awesome isolation, a stampede of fast top door slammer cars is heading west for the 39th annual Golden Stakes at the picture-perfect Perth Motorplex on Kwinana Beach. Perth's hot summer sunshine is famous, and it's about to get even hotter in this quarter-mile kitchen. It takes 40,000 kilometres to circle the Earth. Yet these 12 dedicated and committed Eastern States drag racers will travel more than 100,000 kilometres collectively to race this crucial Andra Pro Series bonus points round. For the home-based Western Australian top door slammer teams, the pain of travel is all too familiar. Yet despite those challenges, the Wild West has dominated the category in recent times. But the Sandgroper supercharged onslaught grows to a whole new level for the Golden States, with not 1, 2, but 10 local racers fronting up for action in the world's quickest accelerating sedans. It's the best of the West against the best of the rest at one of the world's best motorsport venues. With 22 door slammers in total, makes this event the biggest entry list for the category in Andra Pro Series history.
Zapier looked apprehensive after that rain shower because they've made a tune-up call before the rain came. They're already committed both cars to the staging lanes, the dummy grid behind the tower. They've made the calls on how they're going to get these cars. Remember, they do 400 kilometres an hour. They run like a bat out of hell, and they've now got to cater for climate adjustments.
I'll tell you what, if it comes to a pedal job, I'm backing home Zapier in this one, only through experience. But Valeri, maybe the reaction times could win this one. We know Valeri, #1 reaction time in door slammer last year. Zapier down in 10th, so he does have the better RT.
A hearty crowd still in at the Perth Motorplex to witness. Could it be history? This man's first ever win in door slammer for the Pro Series. Oh, well, Zapier regather some vital momentum in the championship. About to find out. Pedal again. Valeri just in front. History in the making for the Sydney sider. Made no bones about being aggressive when it comes to NZ reaction times from here on in, be it semis or final. A big obstacle statistically for him here first with the Aeroflow car, the Studebaker. Interesting fact from Stuart Rowland on this car as well, the weight bias. He would love 50-50, 50% front, 50% back, and 51% front. Finding it hard to get that balance quite right. We've talked about it repeatedly.
Oh! That was close, to say the least. Close.
And why does it always involve Maurice Fabietti with these moments in top door slammer? Far out. That was hairy, scary stuff. I'm sure Robin Judd is not only cheering for Fabietti a little bit, but probably Mark Valeri, with the utmost respect to the Sydney side of leading the series, because this man is in ominous form at the moment. It's a bit even early, it's fair to say, but Zapier again.
Oh, wow.
Look at the numbers.
2 thousandths off the national record.
Unbelievable stuff. Good run from Mark Valeri. Fabietti was shaking his head in the pits after the semi-finals. Why? Because after he played around and missed the shift, or shifted early, it put a concertina effect on shifting down track. He said every shift was horrible. Totally blame with driver scenario.
Man, if he'd shifted a millisecond earlier, he wouldn't be in this final right now. We'd be fishing him out of the ocean somewhere.
Good call. 580 on the boards. Will we see a 70? We shouldn't forget about that. Both cars capable of that.
Into stage.
Huge NZ reaction time advantage. Nostradamus not a Fabietti, but he shuts it off early. And a big win to John Zappia. He has clean sheeted the weekend pretty much. He has been dominant in Capitals from the get-go.
They deserve it, the Pro Comp team. It's the first win of the season for John Zappia. And this is going to be tight.
Wow. In the series, this could be one of those moments. We saw it last season with Jardin Zappia at this event. Oh, big advantage off the start line for Valeri.
Oh! That was the save of the season. I thought we were going to see that Monaro upside down.
Wow! Here's a guy that's been going to drag racing events since he was 8 months old, Mark Valeri. But he's learned more in 12 months than his entire life, you'd think, behind the wheel of this car.
Steve Stanek as the crew chief, the former driver of this car, a former champion. They know what it's like to beat John Zappia. Can they do it now?
It's a big one. Huge NZ reaction time advantage to Valeri. A bit of shake early, carries the wheels and a corker of a drag race, but Zappia gets there just. Wow. That looked close.
Can he back it up in the final and really keep this interesting as we go to the winters? Can he win his first ever Pro Series race meeting as part of the Pro Series?
Scott lane choice. He's been sharp, he's been consistent, the car is in great shape. He's confident, he's happy, he's enjoying his racing, he's lost a stack of weight. And a bit of a fitness and health kick over the past 12 months as Peter Kapiris, the Victorian against the West Aussie. And as much as I'm a West Aussie, I'm almost cheering the Victorian here. Be great to see PK have a good result. Oh, Zappia near the wall, recovers it, and I don't know who won that. No idea. No way. And it's Zappia mathematically. It looked like he tagged the wall, looked like he gave up ground to PK. That is an unbelievable race.
Sutton's third ever race day. His first one came back in January 2009. And he lost to Zappia.
So John Zappia eyeballing 4 championships in a row. Oh!
He smoked the tyres. Oh, Sutton really carried the front. This is close.
Oh, just. Wow. That was a lot tighter than John Zappia would have wanted it, but just.
Congratulations, you got the job done, but gee, it was an ugly run.
Yeah, not the way we wanted to do it, but the Pro Comp Monaro was a bit hopped up a bit too much there, and it didn't quite take what we threw at it, but we got the championship wrapped up now.
You sure did, and you get the gold Christmas tree. Congratulations, an outstanding season.
No, it's been awesome. The crew have done an excellent job, and Striker Crushing and Screening for letting me drive his hot rod, Fuchs Lubricants, K-Trans, Southside Engine Centre, all the major sponsors that have been with us for years. It's been fantastic, and we've got the result for them. Now we just got to get on and win the meeting.
Race day eliminations now for Pro Stock Motorcycle at the Fuchs Australian Nationals, and wonderful conditions to go down the quarter mile for naturally aspirated bikes. The trick for this category, you've got to be like a robot, do everything the same, time and time again.
One guy who's been doing plenty of aerobic action recently, Phil Howard, trying to shave some weight off this motorcycle and off the rider in question. Good light though.
Great NZ reaction time for Bluey. Momo, as Morris Allen likes to be called, is a good chef too, and that's a whole shot win. Big result to Phil Howard.
Like this is the first and second ranked reaction times in Pro Bike, Dean.
Two very good races. Cochrane likes to leave the start line at over 9,500 RPM. He likes making this bike really zing, really scream.
The Kawasaki's... Oh, good race. Gilbertson gets there with the speed. It was actually Cochrane with the biggest speed. Wow, that was a hell of a drag race. Margin of victory on that one. Whew.
Howard shaking his head a little bit.
That bike sounds absolutely awful. It's
oh no,
like fuel issue or something. He's shaking his head. It wasn't sounding ideal at all, to say the least.
He wears his heart on his sleeve, Bluey Howard.
So he's
gotta love it.
Still gonna get this bike into stage and have a stab. Hopefully it's gonna, well, he can, as long as he doesn't do that all the way into stage, he's gonna be on the bike and edge his way into stage.
Bit easier on a Pro Stock motorcycle than it is on a top fuel or top bike entry.
So Gilbertson, this could be a stroke of luck for the Queenslander here. He might be about to break through for, believe it or not, his first Pro Series win. He is a champion in this class, but actually hasn't won an event in the Pro Series since its inception. Amazing to think. Now, Howard's got him double bulbed. He's still shaking his head. That bike sounds awful on the start line.
Gilbertson wants to run 7.1 seconds on this bike. He probably doesn't know the issues. The NZ reaction times tell the tale. Bluey stranded on the start line, but well done to the Hog's Breath machine. Michael Gilbertson takes out the National. 7:36, good run.
Last season saw wild and windy conditions for these precision machines that kept these racers busy and on the edge of their second seats.
Good life for Bluey Howard, and it's going to be Gilbertson to chase. He did the mid-track steer job again, and it's a squeaker at the finish line.
Michael Gilbertson took out the first round of the Andra Pro Series in Sydney and now will make the 6,000-kilometre one-way trip to the Perth Motorplex to try and build on his championship lead at the 39th Golden Stakes.
And we're kicking things off with Pete Cochrane and Andrew Badcock. They hold the record, one apiece on each other. Cochrane with, well, the outstanding reaction time of 0.53, ranked #1 here this weekend.
This is a marquee matchup and shows the development of the category. Pretty even NZ reaction times. It's gonna be tight. Wow, what a great drag race. Cochrane wins it just over the reigning Andra Pro Series champ in the category. What a way to kick off.
All Suzuki final. Milwaukee Batteries. TLR-bodied Suzuki.
Lockie Island. What would he give for a gold Christmas tree trophy round win?
Not many people can claim to win their first ever final. Let's have a look at this racetrack. It would have lost a bit of temperature with that rain. This could be an ugly old drag race.
And like Pro Stock car, these bikes, very tricky in the aero department. How are the conditions going to stack, pack and rack for these two machines? Oh, big disparity in the NZ reaction times. Island with the better light.
It's a bit crooked down the racetrack, but this one's all Momo.
Well done to Morris Allen. No speed represented for Lockie Island, but well done to the Victorian.
Pro Stock Motorcycle continues to grow strongly. The days of an easy win in the Eliminator are definitely a thing of the past. All boxes need to be ticked to go rounds and win on these sleek machines. With Morris Allen, Phil Howard, Michael Gilbertson, Peter Cochrane and Lachlan Island in a torrid 5-way points battle for series success. Who will stride ahead at Willowbank in this next round of two-wheeled wizardry?
Island, the Johnny Vulture Suzuki. Starting to get a hand around this bike, up against Glenn Worcester. One half of the Hog's Breath Cafe team, his teammate Michael Gilbertson, not in the show this weekend.
Couple of fast Victorians for you. Tippy-toeing into stage.
Oh, bad reaction time for Lockie Island. You need to be in the zeros in Pro Stock Bike. They're neck and neck at the finish, so is he going to hold on? He will.
Chased him down. Oh, 7:49. Good speed from both bikes. But this is one guy who's been making some big speeds at the top end. Huge matchup this one for the championship. Morris Allen leading the points race at the moment, the defending champ.
Andrew Badcock has gone back to the engine he described as Old Faithful this weekend after trying a different engine combination during the course of the season. NZ reaction time advantage to Allen.
This one's going all the way to the stripe. Badcock has the power and the ET 728 over Allen's 740, despite that start line advantage. What I love about Lockie Island, it's been a real coming-of-age rider for him. He's one of those guys who was struggling to make field, struggling to be quick, was red lighting a lot. Here he is, second straight final, and his best chance of winning this race is on the start line. We know he's a couple tenths slower than Badcock. His chance to win the race, he needs to be like a Jedi on the start line.
Badcock has been the quickest both in speed and ET so far in the eliminations at Willowbank. Moment of truth now.
Oh no. Oh, the exact opposite.
Island was asleep at the tree and is going to lose. Badcock breaks through 7.307 and the speed is up there again.
And these are the busiest races probably in all of drag racing, a pro stock motorcycle racer. A lot of housekeeping to do before, during and after a quarter mile pass.
The reaction times are pretty tight between these two.
Oh. And they're tight again, but Gilbo with the better one. This is tight. It's very tight. And that's a big, big win for the Lucas Motorcycle Oils machine. Well done to Lockie Island.
So Bob Shaw, could it be, up against Lockie Island, who's still in the hunt for the championship? We've already seen Morris Allen go through, so he really needs to toe the line here.
Island showed good elapsed time potential at this event. He's always been technically very good in pro stock motorcycle. His dad does that distinctive shrug of the shoulders and cross of the arms in hope of his boy delivering a big win. Good NZ reaction times, particularly to Lockie Island. It's going to be tight.
Oh, wow, man.
Look at the times.
7:35 beats a 7:48. Pretty tight at the tree so far, Bob Shaw, in his very limited career. Did pull an 09 light against Lockie Island, but Morris Allen has also been quick all race meeting long. New visor for night time.
No tinting needed now. No polarising.
That is the view out of the visor, straight down the racetrack. Destination waits.
Allen leaves nice and tidy. Bit of an interesting shift visually there at one stage for Allen, but he gets the win. Bad luck for Bob Shaw. Congratulations on making your first final, though. But, well, Momo eyeing another championship.
For these awesome two-wheeled machines, the season-ending Castrol Edge Winter Nationals at Queensland's Willowbank Raceway represents that one last chance to top qualify.
It's fast there to number one, 7:30.
To make race day.
Race day eliminations here at Sydney Dragway. Andra Pro Series action of the two-wheeled kind.
To go rounds. Maybe set a new performance benchmark in drag racing's field of dreams. To win a Winter Nationals, or to win a precious Andra Pro Series championship. In top bike, Chris Matheson is on the cusp of defending his Pro Series crown, with one eye also on trying to finally break that elusive 5-second frontier.
That definitely hands it to Matheson, and look at that number, 6:05 with that run, national record.
Pro Stock Motorcycle has seen strong entry numbers throughout the season, and the category is rewarded with a genuine three-way play for the right to be called the champion, which should leave us all on the Castrol edge of our seats.
Okay, tail of the tape. Badcock holds that record over Morris Allen 2-1, and a better NZ reaction time of 1:01 lights or 1:48. And man, he needs every bit of that right now because the Milwaukee bike has been quicker this weekend, Dean.
Yes, Momo been impressive. How about this for Trevor Birrell? This bike, the new engine, the billet heads. He even told me the dyno figures. 295 horsepower, 148 foot-pounds of torque. How
That's
impressive is that? Out of a motorcycle, naturally aspirated.
Here we go.
Oh, it's tied off the start line. Is Freddie going to keep his championship defence alive? He has by the narrowest of margins. That is one of the best pro bike races we've seen this season. Right there.
And earlier this season, Dean, we were talking about the floods that this area's had, and that was one place that certainly copped it along with the rest of Ipswich. Single fact that we're actually racing here this weekend. It's pretty amazing, really. This area got fairly battered by the weather back in January.
There'll be no team orders here. And it is amazing to see that we're here after the setbacks in this part of the world. Semi-finals away. Oh, killer. NZ Light. Gilbo popping a cherry.
Yeah, man, Worcester pulling out an 013 when it counts, but it wouldn't have mattered. Gilbo, what on earth was that? A giant red line.
7:59, positive progress too for Worcester. The Hogs happy regardless. Consider this, Chad. He started drag racing in 1982. He's participated in 20 consecutive Winter Nationals events. He's had 8 consecutive finals up to 2002. He's won 13. He's been in 13 finals for 8 wins and 4 runner-ups at this event.
Jeez.
There you go. I know you're the stat man, but how about that? I have to thank Lex Swain for that, actually. Good write-up on Trev.
He'll have another bike going through to a final here. Andrew Badcock. Well,
whoa.
Bobby Shaw was a no-show, and hello, low ET. Oh, no. How's the look on Morris Allen's face and Pommy Pete's face? They can't believe that. This bike is looking super quick. This man could be about to lose the championship by a point.
Top Alcohol has always been some of the toughest action you will ever see in the Andra Pro Series, as the collection of dragsters and funny cars rip and tear down quarter miles around Australia.
Hambridge straight into the wall. The first pass of the weekend, a massive accident to kick off the event.
While some categories have more outright competitor numbers, Top Alcohol is loaded with champions, contenders, and some of the toughest races you will see anywhere, anytime.
Pedal again for Haybridge. And it was a tight one. Wow. Jeez.
Anyone in the entire Top Alcohol field heading to Sydney Dragway for the Fuchs Australia Nationals is capable of not only winning the first round of the Andra Pro Series, but is more than able to win the series championship. To do that, however, they need to unseat the unmovable force that has been Gary Phillips.
To win a championships is a tough call. It's hard to win them, and it's even harder to stay there.
With 14 championship wins in the category, the Lucas Oil Products Warrior is far from finished with a fast, funny car that should go even quicker this time around.
Both NZ reaction times a little sleepy. Begley in front, but he loses it. Pocket pinched. Gary Phillips will be wiping his brow and going phew with that 572.
Wayne Newby finished last season strong, and this multi-champ will be keen to unseat the big boy of supercharged alcohol in a car that is more than just a new coat of paint.
He can go quicker, as can Oki. Will they deliver it? Wheels up for Newby. Tighter in the tree. And that was an amazing race. Wayne Newby, 5, 6, 7.
Lane choice by 100.
There's new contenders too, with Aaron Hambridge capable of anything, including more national records, and Stephen Ham producing a potent package that could go all the way in the Andra Pro Series, starting at the Fuchs Australian Nationals in Sydney. Gary Phillips, he's admitted this year he is looking at his reaction times. His NZ reaction times a lot closer. He has to improve those. He knows that. We'll find out right here if he's starting in fine style in that area.
Yeah, he's the only person to lose on a whole shot recently, and he's lost twice on the whole shot in the Pro Series.
But he is the racer's racer in this country when it comes to drag racing. Pretty even at the tree, but Vicious shaking. He got so close to Paul Medill. Wow. Not the way Gary Phillips wanted to start his title defence. Interestingly, Rick Gorsey running Hoosier tyres still has been toying with Goodyear. He believes, though, the Hoosier tyre delivers a happy medium. Allows a bit more slip in the tyres. Wheel speed, clutch, all these key areas in so many drag racing categories, and this one's no exception.
Newbie holds the record over Rick Gorsey. 1-0 they met in the first round last season at this event.
Oh, monster NZ advantage to Rick Gorsey. Oh, and he nearly beats him. Newbie again into the 557s, and the speed very nice too, but that was a rib tickler of a drag race. He does look like a MiG fighter pilot or something like that. Yeah. Cambridge, and he is a fighter pilot. If there's one man, I know Jim Reed and some of the icons of drag racing will tell you the top alcohol is like a great, traditionally, feeder class into nitro. If there's one man, if I go out on a limb, I'd love to see him top fuel, it is this guy. Both of these guys, really.
Second at that. Well, they've only ever met once. Marchant is down 1-0 in the matchup stakes. Correction time nowhere near that of Cambridge. That's a good light.
Pretty even off the tree. Cambridge getting a little closer to the centre line, but that's an unbelievable run. Remembering they had to do a ton of work after qualifying session 3. That is a new performance benchmark. Better than the national record.
Man, he goes under his own national record. Where did that come? The car hasn't looked like behaving. Whoa, got near that centre line.
I think the JBS team's still finessing the weight bias on this car. I did ask Noobs, was that wheels up launch in Q3 deliberate? He goes, of course it was. I like having big wheel stands on the hit. It's so much fun. I love it. I think he's just being a little bit cheeky. But it is great to see him happy in the sport again.
Yeah, there's two things I'd like to have when I was travelling at about 300 kilometres an hour. In the space of about, one is tyres, front tyres on the ground, and 2 is not looking at clouds. I just feel like that'd be really comforting to have those two things on my side, but, well, this is what these guys do for a living. Professional drag racing.
In drag racing, it's about managing the conditions, plotting the course down the racetrack. It's not easy. The start line is tight here at Sydney. Some teams having issues with excess drive shaft speed towards the top end. Who will take out the Nationals? NZ reaction time advantage to Newbie, but Avery did so close. 560, 568. This bracket has kicked off in awesome style this season.
Look at the wheelie bar. The wheel is actually touching the racetrack. That is actually on the racetrack. We talk about how this car is doing weight shifting earlier. Well, that is a new way of skinning the cat. Well, Stephen Ham has a slightly better reaction time over Gary Phillips, desperate for a first win light of the season.
Big first round. Pedaling the car today may be a reality to get the win light. Pretty even NZ reaction ties. Both carry good speed. It's a hell of a race.
Oh, into the 50s. 556 beats a 562.
The speed. Final preparations being completed. A lot of sun on this racetrack. The track temperature getting warmer. Have they made the allowances they need to in clutch application, gear ratios? Some of these teams run ignition management. Have they got all those ducks in a row? Husband versus wife right now, huge! NZ reaction time advantage to Debbie Reed, and it's a cracker!
Reed, Stephen Reed, that is, just drives around her in the end. Man, Debbie, for the 5th straight time, nails the hubby to the start line, but it was the sheer power of that funny car. Okay, head-to-head stats. Well, this guy is virtually unstoppable in finals. Aaron Hambridge, 80% win record in finals. These two have raced each other 7 times. Hambridge holds that record 5-2, 2-0 in finals. But Wayne Newby's reaction time in those 7 times against Aaron Hambridge, 0.57, he really does pull something out of the top draw. Just about 200ths quicker than his rival.
Aaron Hambridge likes to turn up the wick in the engine RPM. A lot of teams set it around 6,000 RPM. He's getting close to 7,000. He says the catch is the harder you turn the engine off the start line, the finer the line or margin for error. Could that play into Newby's hands? Going on this weekend, though, Hambridge has been tough to beat. Waiting on them now. Identical end-to-end reaction times. Hambridge up in smoke, but he kept his foot in the bucket, loses the race. Well done to Wayne Newby again in that 560 zone. Debbie Reed in the All-Star Batteries entry. And Rick Gorsey, how nice is this car in the Aeroflow livery?
These conditions won't worry Deb. A lot of experience.
Away. Hit a shake for Debbie Reed.
And for Gorsey.
Oh, Reed with her hands full. No. Oh. Whoa. That is disastrous.
Wow, that was 2 or 3 massive hits for Deb.
I remember going to my first drag meeting at Surfers Paradise. I've always liked cars and that sort of stuff, so...
A couple of weeks after I turned 17, had my driver's licence and started running street meets at Surfers Paradise Raceway. You know, I had my licence and probably 12 months later, I got to race my first meeting in the Supercharged Ultra.
I met Stephen when I was working in a service station, Porty's Petrol, and we sort of started going out, and he was already involved in the drag racing, of course, so I actually got to see it from the other side of the track.
It's hard watching any of them because you love them, so it's harder. I probably used to always struggle watching Dad more, only because he had had more accidents. And then Mum, only up until a couple of years ago, was never nervous at all, and then now I'm just nervous every time anyone races.
I would like to win a championship, and I'd like to keep going out there and winning races and stuff like that, but I've also got to think about my family.
Drag racing is a big part of our lives, you know, and like I said before as well, I mean, sometimes maybe too much a part of our life, but it's there, and you know, and it's hard to walk away from. Debbie just missing winning the championship, coming down that last run. I mean, it was heartbreaking stuff.
Here we go. Oh, it's a red line. Reed wins it. No, she doesn't.
It was really hard at the end of the run to get out of the car for them more than me. I still got to drive it and to be there, but those guys had put in all the work, and it was disappointing for them.
There are dangers involved, but we're very mindful and trying to make the cars as safe as we possibly can.
I think what happens, because we don't do a lot of racing anymore, that it's always that first qualifier that's the hardest.
Away, hit a shake for Debbie Reed.
I ran a couple of passes before Debbie, got back to her pit area and walked to the fence to watch Debbie run, and she basically started to lose control of her car straight in front of where we were pitted.
Oh, Reed with her hands full! No! Oh.
I don't have any memory of the accident at all, and in fact I don't remember being strapped into the car, I don't remember the burnout, I don't remember staging, none of that's a memory.
At the time, when we were there with Debbie in the car, there was no tears, there was no panic, there was no nothing. There was a job had to be done and some stuff had to be sorted.
From the image that I remember seeing in hospital is that when it hit the fence, it probably jammed the throttle on, and that took me down in front of Rick's car, and that's the only thing that did, because I was unconscious then. But to get out of that with not having any serious or permanent injuries is really good, and the fact that maybe it could have gone the other way, that I could have been permanently injured or something or other, and that I would never have known my granddaughter or got to spend time with her or the rest of my family. Yeah, it does
it's not worth it. They don't race to win $1 million. It's a sport, and yes, they love it, but I need a mother and she needs a grandmother, so why?
For probably 6 or 7 weeks after that, I probably wasn't going to be here. I was probably ready to hang the helmet up, you know.
Maybe there's other things I can do in the sport to be involved.
It's all part of that family thing, the involvement that we've got. You know, we've still got a well set up race shop there, and everything ties in. You know, the battery business, the family involvement. Like I said, it all ties in, and it's something we want to do. You know,
it's something that keeps us both involved. It's interesting. I love the power, the noise. But probably above all else, it's the people involved.
So many good friends. We've holidayed outside of drag racing with friends.
Drag racing is a big part of our lives, you know.
I don't know what we would do if we weren't here, and I can't imagine anything else. And you back them 100% in what they do.
It's a great sport. I mean, it's spectacular to watch, and it's even better to be a part of. To be honest, I really don't know what I would do without it.
John Cannoli's made his way through various Pro Series categories. Discussion of him having a bigger play in Top Door Slammer moving forward. Time will tell on that one. But we know he took out his first Pro Series crown at the Perth Motorplex more than 12 months ago. It would mean something else again to win it here at Sydney Dragway. To back it up, to really legitimise himself as a top-line mover and shaker in the Andra Pro Series.
See the Tucker Monster Energy Drink team are in there as well. They were so pivotal in getting him on the start line for this final.
Pretty tight at the start line, Wayne Newby. That was rare, that was almost excessive shake at first glance. And Cannoli runs a strong 5, reasonably strong speed, and wins the event.
For Debbie O'Rourke, this is only her third ever eliminations race in the Pro Series. Her first here at Willowbank as part of the Top Alcohol crew. She's yet to get her first win line.
She's made the progression path like so many others in Western Australia, racing in basically supercharged outlaws competition, then stepping up to competition or top comp style racing, and now we're seeing coming here how strong she has been in qualifying. 2 strong 5-second passes. So Newby will need to keep the housekeeping razor sharp in this one. Big NZ reaction time advantage to Newbs. And gee, that proved to be the only difference at the end of it. Wow!
Wayne, firstly, congratulations. That pass earned you this championship trophy. Congratulations, an outstanding season for you.
Yeah, the car's run perfect all season, and it's not without a lot of hard work from the crew, and I can't thank them enough. And to my sponsors, JBS, Faber Australia, Manly, Goldie's Redline Oil, and VP Racing Fuel. Couldn't do without them as well, so thanks very much, guys.
Pro stock in the Andra Pro Series is hardly point-and-shoot motorsport. These sleek and slippery race cars deliver tight racing and often tiptoeing down a skinny tightrope between glory or disaster. The 400 cubic inch naturally aspirated cars are being asked to deliver more than ever before in terms of outright horsepower, new levels of engine RPM, fuel flow and torque as several racers stare down a special frontier in Australian drag racing, the first ever 6-second quarter-mile pass. A winning Pro Stock pass is almost a culmination in perfection itself. The perfect car tune-up, the perfect start line reaction time, the perfect driver effort. Manhandling that car to the finish stripe. Who will attain perfection in Sydney?
Qualifying is done. It's race day at the Fuchs Australian Nationals. 16 Pro Stock cars, and after this round, we have it.
We see staging games. We know Tyrone Tremaine likes to play them, sitting in pre-stage. Who'll be first to go in? This is Pro Stock. This is why I absolutely love this category. Kerry Tremaine, Tyrone's father, watching on.
The NZ reaction times will be crucial, and they're both a rip snorter. And this is extremely close at the finish line, but Newcomb gets it on horsepower. The lungs, they were bigger, they breathe deeper. That's a great win.
Aaron Tremaine holds the record over Wayne Daly 2-0, but was out in the first round of this event 12 months ago.
Staging games, no, they're bumped in, and almost identical NZ reaction times. Daly trying to serve it up, it's going to be tight. Again, less than a car length. Daly 7-1 is a great run, but not good enough. The champ showing why he is the champ. Aaron Tremaine, what a way to defend your 3-time championship chase by getting the first round away. He has been enormous in Pro Stock. The entire team has been.
He's incredible. 22 cars rocked up this weekend, Dean, and somehow this guy still is in the mix when the final round comes. He is incredible.
Team principal Kerry Tremaine has always been a little apprehensive as the rest of the field play catch-up on them, but they're still leading the way. They're still laying down the gauntlet, and what a way to defend your championship chase by taking out the big go right here. Who's going to take it? Oh, killer light this time to Dave Newcomb. It's going to be extremely tight at the finish line. Oh, what a run. Newcomb delivers the reaction time, but not the win.
2.9 metres, the margin of victory, 33 thousandths of a second. It's the third closest Pro Stock final we've ever seen in the Pro Series. Wow, what a way to finish off the Fuchs Australian Nationals.
Teams working on those wheelie bars. Some say it's all for show, but some say there is a science to it. With the extra heat going into the rear tyres, it lifts the whole car off the ground that little bit more, so you want to make sure that the wheelie bars are adjusted accordingly.
They work in concert with the rear shocks in particular to do that. The shocks start out extremely stiff, hard to compress, hard to bang down on that compression stroke. They stay, dare I use the word erect, off the start line, and then they gradually, through pre-programming and timing, soften so the car can squat down and they can use whatever aero they have, which isn't a lot at the top end of the racetrack. Amazing science. It is a science, just like so many aspects of these amazing Pro Stock cars.
What these guys would give for a drag reduction system, a la Formula One style, where a hole magically appears in the rear wings.
Oh, man, red light hedges. And it was only the tightest of ones. 007 for the A train and a 709. He is looking ominous again. Good run for Hedges, though. 713, that's not far short of his PB.
Tell you what, got to give a big shout out to Craig Burns of SFC Race Cars for getting this thing back to the racetrack as quickly as they did.
Isn't he imposing himself on drag racing across several categories now? I guess having your hand in some very potent and powerful Pro Series cars doesn't hurt your chances.
Oh man, this will be a big light.
Who's going in first? Oh, it's Ali. He decides I'm going in early. Oh, and a 004. John Barbagallo. He knew what he had to do, didn't he? 714 is a little soft. Ali is stout in that lane. 719. So,
this ridiculous record of Aaron Tremaine's going on.
If he wins this, the parcel of Pro Series points, thanks to Auto 1 and NZ, just really put him into a surging position.
Double bulbs.
He's into full stage already. He was blindsided. Surely that changes the dynamic a little bit.
Did the team touch the car, more importantly? I know the Andra officials will be looking at that one, and oh man, the clock is ticking right now. Barbagallo will only have a matter of seconds to get this thing into stage. Jeez.
Now, that can be at the starter's discretion. He may well say he knows what's going on here. Greg Schultz seems to be happy. You can see him there in the grey shirt in the middle. They're going to give... Now, the interesting rule a couple of seasons ago with the Andra rulebook was if you double bulbed on your rival, you were out. Now, thankfully, that rule has been discounted. Now, the crew do not look happy. Is this the little window of opportunity for John Barbagallo? He needs it. He wants it.
Man, that car just went straight into full stage. It's usually a dirty tactic, but there's no way that's what Aaron wanted to do on that occasion.
Better ends end reaction time, not surprisingly to Barbagallo. He's there, but not quite. Good race though, and a great ET. Aaron Tremaine, brilliant result considering the unnerving at the start.
With cooling May conditions in Sydney at this time of year, the Pro Stock racers always love to head to Sydney Dragway for the Nitro chance. Unlike the other categories in the Andra Pro Series, Pro Stock sees 16-car eliminations on race day instead of the conventional 8. Does that mean things have come easier to these racers? Not on your life. This penultimate round of the Auto 1 and NZ Championships sees an all-time record 25 entries. Suddenly, making a 16-car field is tough. Very tough. With these teams searching for just 1 or 2 horsepower to make the difference, trying to keep a high-screaming 400 cubic inch small block engine happy and reliable, Pro Stock is a real test. Who will prevail in this history-making round in Sydney?
Well, they are the show. They bring it all to the racetrack, and what they need now are win lights. It's what this team's really been craving. They've got everything they need, including the driver who's been over to the States. He's done all of that stuff. But here he is against Brian Purcell, who has lane choice over Tucker.
I've got to say, Brian Purcell has really just stepped up nicely over the last few rounds. The potential of this car. Starting to realise it now. Both reaction times reasonable, pretty even. And Purcell should and does win it with a good run. Tucker falls just agonisingly short. That seems to be the tail for Tucker.
So Newcomb lacking a little bit of ET, but we know he's quick at the tree. He goes deep as well, so he knows he's down on elapsed time, so he's trying to get that little bit closer to the finish line.
Zarakis holds his nerve. Red light, that gives it. No!
He's touched the centre line and this is going to go to the wall.
Oh, so close, so close. And that's a brilliant recovery. He lost the race. But listen to the crowd. They are applauding that drive job by Nick Zarakis. We touched on it, Chad. These cars are so flighty sometimes.
Oh, where do you start with this one? First things first, Newcomb goes to red lights and gets disqualified. But look at this, bang, taking out a timing block is the worst of the two things to do. That car was past 90 degrees. How did it miss the wall? I have no idea. I don't know whether to feel sorry for the guy.
Oh, big time tyre shake.
Yeah.
Yep, insufficient wheel speed for Nick. Oh, that is sprint car style. Oh, this is the move. Locks the rear tyres up, the brakes are in it, steers it out. Amazing driving.
He never touched it. So this one gets blown wide open when the conditions are like this. But wow. Newcomb, if he wins this, the championship titan's going into the winters. If Bektash wins this, we'll be hearing about it for a very long time. Can he get his first win?
Will there be a staging duel here? Bektash taking his time. Oh, it's a red light by 0.02 of a second. But in being fair to Bektash, this guy is a freak when it comes to reaction times. 0.14.
It's an interesting matchup. I mean, Ridgway's had the speed so far at this race meeting. We know JB can seem to pull anything out when he needs it. And then there's the other side of the argument that says Peter Ridgway's yet to get a win light this whole season. And he
serious.
Not want to go a whole year without claiming a win light, as the guys go to work on the wheelie bars, just making sure the perfect height away from the ground. The wheelie bars will be steering these cars when the front wheels are in the air. You drive the car on the back, well, literally on the back wheels on the wheelie bars. So Ridgway, a winless season. Who would have thought from such a champion of Andra Pro Stock? This is his chance to make sure that doesn't happen.
John Barbagallo been chasing harmony in the back end of the car, be it shocks, be it suspension, be it four link, etc. Just getting the centre of gravity right to produce some consistency. That's been eluding him this season. Waiting on Ridgway now.
Launch the RPM up, JB.
Much better reaction time for John Barbagallo.
800ths is a mile. That's a mile to give away on the start line, and it's a whole shot win as well to JB. Just in case there wasn't enough up for grabs, the winner of this race will get a solo in the semi-final. We'll go straight through to the final. So this is essentially a massive race.
It's a virtual semi-final.
Yeah, you go straight through to the final.
Rabbiting on before about valve springs. 400 cubic inch naturally aspirated, carburetted, homologated gasoline fuel in these cars, yet they pull well over, well, realistically 1,000 horsepower. But they're spinning the engines at well over 10,000 RPM. They really ask a lot of the engines, and I was talking to some of these guys before, and typically if you're doing your housekeeping properly on a Pro Stock engine, you are changing usually 2 valve springs after every 2 events in these cars. It's nuts.
Whoa, hello. That is a massive reaction time advantage in the way of Perdicaris, and he holds on to it.
Yep, that's a whole shot win all day. He thinks there's plenty more in this car too, the Deco Glazed Glass Flashbacks car. His 60-foot times he's not happy with, but Dave Newcomb, we know, has been well storied, has the performance. Can he keep the dream alive in the championship? Oh! Uh-oh. Now 048. Sounds reasonable, but it's not for Newcomb. It's over!
No.
Whole shot win on a cracking drag race.
Wow,
I'm just trying to process what's happened here. We're talking about comparing the two cars. John Barbagallo, a professional engine builder, has worked on a billet cylinder head program for some time. This Tremaine's run aluminium heads as well, but they've been running what they call a cast-mounted head. They're going to the billet for next year, so more poke. And here's a team that deserves support, Aaron Tremaine. If you're a sponsor, that is.
Oh, he's too good. Big chatter marks from Barbagallo, a 004. That is why he deserves this championship, and it's a whole shot win as well.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous. 004. There is the champ playing the champ's move.
Aaron, the Pro Stock champion, and you've gone down in the history books. How do you feel?
Oh, there's no words can describe how we feel right now. My whole team, my family, my teammate Jason, put Newcomb on the trailer, fastest car by far. Mate, I am absolutely wrapped. To all my sponsors and everyone, I really hope we can do something next year. My brother's got a new car coming, so I'm really excited. Thanks to everyone.
Well, we're going to present you with the Andra Gold Trophy. Congratulations, an outstanding season.
Thanks a lot, eh? Well done, brother. Thanks, dude.
So good.
Well done.